Welcome. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and all between the binary. This is Get Informed with Wajeeh. I'm Wajeeh Lion. What's for breakfast? Chocolate. Because girl breakfast. It is yummy. I shouldn't be doing it, but I told myself I wasn't, I didn't want to open the Q&A today or the Get Informed. I told myself if I open the Get Informed, I get to give myself chocolate. So here we go. Good morning. This is the way. Good morning. Good morning. How do you become a paid subscriber? You go to my profile and under subscribe, uh, or if you go to my profile, if you're already subscribed, it will show you a link that says upgrade, or like instead of subscribe, it will say upgrade. You click on upgrade, and that will take you to a different link, or like it will take you to a website, and you'll go through the upgrading process. Becoming a paid subscriber is actually very affordable on my channel. It's $5 a month, or even way cheaper, $35 a year. Why is it cheap? Because I want anyone and everyone be able to afford a membership, even if it meant like essentially buying me a dinner once a year. Because what? That's how much dinner costs now, at least. As if you're going to pick it up and bring it. Hey, I'm just making the point. If you want to support me even better, even more, you can become a VIP member. That is a $300 membership, or whatever you can pay between the 35 and the 300. There's a pay your way or something like that. And for everyone that has been asking for merch, I have good news for you. I have merch. I have t-shirts and hoodies now that have dropped. Working on getting you guys some mugs and baseball caps and maybe like bags and stuff like that. Some silly stuff that you can carry on here and there. It doesn't have to be all t-shirts or hoodies. But the design colors need to change a little bit to make them fit these other products. So working with the design team again to remake the same design but make it more for a other product. So there is 16 days left for this first drop. So make sure to get your t-shirt or hoodie as soon as you can before the drop goes away. Uh, you will have, if you're waiting to get paid for this new month or whatever, you, it will be available throughout the first week or so, or 2 weeks of the next month. So you can rest assured that it's gonna be there, but make sure to grab yours now before before uh, you know, supply is limited to time. A Pride version, that's not a bad idea. Make a Pride version. Let's see what I could do. What Saudi food do I like? I love the Saudi national dish, which is kabsa. And I'm also a big fan of shawarma. Also a big fan of falafel sandwiches, which is not a Saudi. These two are not necessarily Saudi dishes. Um, yeah, I'm also a fragrant connoisseur. Someone earlier was asking me in the previous podcast with Malcolm, what's my favorite scent? I like animal musk because there's plant-based musk and there's chemical musk, but I like animal-based musk and I like whale amber, and I'm a big fan of jasmine and flowers essentially. Oud in moderation. If I ever use oud, I use it in moderation because I know a lot of Americans are very sensitive to it. Not a lot of Americans enjoy oud. So I try to wear something that, people around me will like, and I try to use it in moderation. I've lost a friend before because of using a lot of fragrances, because they have a very sensitive nose, and I just never understood and never respected that boundary, and I learned the hard way. Trump Art of the Neo, I love it. I don't see much questions in the group chat. Welcome, everyone. Well, we all know, see, like Trump, being crazy, right? When he goes 50-50, a solid 50-50. How's it solid? Like using 50-50 diamond cuts? Then you got the Iranian toll booth. You guys like the charts that I made yesterday? I made I uploaded the article and I thought I had a good chart, and then I was like looking back at it and I was like, oh, this is such a horrible chart. So I had to change it a few times until I really got the chart that I was happy with. And then I made another diagram. So there's the first chart at the beginning and then there's a diagram at the bottom of the article. And it kind of like two different visuals that kind of help divide things up for you. And they are subject to change. These charts have been changing over time, and this one, in my own opinion, is the most up to date regarding the current situation. It has all the information you need. You might need a ruler to follow who's allied with whom, but it should act just like as a chemistry chart for you, or any mathematical chart. You just follow who's where, and you'll find your answer. Nice to meet you, Richard. Thanks for becoming a member. So, the chart, is I was working on that chart for almost 2 days, my team and I, and we tried our best to make it work. Let me see if I can pull it out. Oh yes. I recommend you taking a look at it on a computer with a bigger screen. It's much easier to look at it than if you would look at it from your phone. Yeah. Or an iPad or whatever, like any bigger screen. But even if you don't, the I made sure that the resolution, meaning the quality of the picture, is quite high. So even if you zoom in, it's not going to be blurry. It should be very, very detailed. So you're supposed to be able to zoom in and zoom out. But this is as simplified as you can get it to be without making it complicated. So, like, for example, you got the United States, Israel, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Turkey, Syria, Iraq, Iran, Hezbollah, Hamas, Palestine, Al Qaeda, and ISIS. It's not everyone in the picture, but those are the major players, I would say, right? And again, the same parties are up here. United States, Israel, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Turkey, Syria, Iraq, Iran, Hezbollah, Hamas, Palestine, Al Qaeda, and ISIS. And you just follow. Or if you want to see the United States, for example, it's easier to go down. U.S. and then they're allied with Israel. They have tactical relationship with Saudi Arabia. They have tactical relationship with Egypt. They have tactical relationship with Turkey. They have tactical relationship with Syria. They have tactical relationship with Iraq. Hostile relationship with Iran. Hostile relationship with Hezbollah. hostile relationship with Hamas, neutral relationship with Palestine, hostile relationship with Al Qaeda, and hostile relationship with ISIS. Israel, they're allied with the United States. There's no, because this is Israel right here. The hostile relationship with Saudi Arabia. They have a tactical relationship with Egypt. Right now, relationship between Turkey and Israel is hostile. Right now, relationship between between Syria and Israel is a little tactical. And then the rest is all hostile. And so on and so forth. But as you go down, as you realize, okay, let's figure out who's on which side. But then I made you even a better one. After you take a look at that, you can have a 3D dimension, a 2D dimension that kind of draws a map of who's on whose side. Same exact map. It says Syrian rupture visualization. Don't worry about that. That's a mistake right there. But you have the Western Axis, United States and Israel. You have Al Qaeda and ISIS. And then you have in the middle the Gulf and Sunni powers, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Turkey. And then in the middle, you have right here the Levant transition states, Iraq, Syria. You have Iran and Palestinian Authority. This refers to the Iranian uh, the Center for Iranian Studies in Ankara. It's a political center. Uh, Hold on. No, no, no. I thought I figured that out. Sorry. I'll have to do more research about that. But there's two meanings to this. Either it's an Iranian research center or it is a political party within Israel, which I think it's the second one. A political party within Israel called which is like an Arabic Palestinian party within Israel. That's why they're right next to each other. Um, but I'm still trying to figure out what that is because depending on who you ask, they give you different answers. That's why I still have it in there because it's either the research center or the political party. And then you have Iran, Hezbollah, and Hamas all together. And basically, almost everyone has a horrible relationship with these except for Turkey. Like, for example, Iran currently doesn't have the best relationship with Turkey, but they have a tactical relationship with Egypt. It says neutral over here because the government is divided, but in reality, it's closer to green. Not even tactical, it's closer to green between Iran and Iraq. Hezbollah with Iraq should also be green, but it's tactical because the government is divided, the Iraqi government. But all these guys working with each other very closely. If you notice, if you come back to Al Qaeda and ISIS, they don't work with each other because they compete against each other. You can spend hours on this. If you notice, it says tactical because Saudi Arabia has the upper hand. But if you ask most people, this would be green. This would be an alliance by now. Because if it wasn't for Saudi Arabia, Syria would have not met Trump. But the Syrian new president, Ahmed al Julani, the former member of ISIS, is playing smart ball with Israel. So this should be green. Should be. This also, from Turkey to Syria, is tactical, but it's also heading toward green. If you notice the line between Iran and or any of these lines in Saudi Arabia has not even connected. Partly because there's no direct communication between the Saudi government and these groups until Iran recently. Iran would be the only country that would have had some sort of communication with the Saudi government. But for the longest time, that line was hostile. Before the war, it was heading toward neutral. With this war, it's heading back to hostile. Could this be better? Yes. This can get fixed a little better and improved, and so it's not perfect. It's just a, it, it's the outline that you might head back to see what makes sense or how you can make sense of the bigger picture. And this also shows you how complicated the Middle East map is. And this is how simplified we can get the most complicated image of the Middle East possible. Like this is the best I could do to simplify a way more complicated image. Like if I go here, and this is the Cornell University, right? Look at the relationship. This is what I'm making sense of for you. This is what it looks like. So if you like are paying attention to what's happening on a regular basis, and if you're paying attention to the nuances and the small changes, all of a sudden you can start seeing these lines appearing in front of you. But it takes years and sometimes decades of experience. And that's what I was trying to do for you. But that's the best I could do. And I had to take a lot of parties out. Like if I included everyone into that picture, and if I included all the small parties that also in the picture, you would have been so confused. So I had to eliminate so many parties and just include the main players. So there's a lot of puzzle pieces that you still do not see. Like I'm just trying to make sure that you understand that there's a lot more to this than what you're seeing. And I just placed the main parties. Otherwise, you would think that you have l- mm, found out all the players. This is not all the players. So yeah, take your time, take a look at it. I also published another article after that dives in a little deeper, gives you a little bit more context, a little bit more history. So I published two articles yesterday. So you would read the first one and you would have that general idea, and then you would go to the second one to go dive in deeper. The first article is about 7 minutes long. The second article is about 20 minutes long. So but if you have been reading my articles, you will notice that you're going to be, you won't feel like you have to be learning a lot of extra things. You're going to be like, oh, I already heard that. Oh, yeah, I was already told this before. So you'll notice some information is repeating itself and some information is clarifying some previous information that you just learned. So strongly recommend you taking a look at it and reading it. I'm not saying it's a Harvard document, but it's a document we worked on to make sure that you guys could have access to some sort of information. Believe it or not, the death toll have not been updated regarding this war because, especially about Lebanon, you'd think people would get updated numbers about what's happening in Lebanon. Unfortunately, not. Let's go back and see if you guys have any more questions. Otherwise, we can cut it a little bit short if there's many questions. Just started looking at it. Very helpful reference. Thank you. Does this kind of work you do get to you overwhelming? I've had to take short breaks from. Does it get to me? So yes and no. Yes and no. But like with people support like you guys, it kind of makes it way more tolerable and it makes it even sometimes fun to be doing this type of education and to be pushing this type of knowledge. It is your support, your financial dedication to my project that pushes me forward to doing more of the work that I do. So if like people like you haven't stood up and said, I want to support you financially, I want to support you, even not financially in other ways, by retweeting and liking and commenting and showing up on a regular basis and learning. If it wasn't for this type of support, it kind of makes it really hard. It does make it really hard because it becomes like, how do I even justify the amount of mental energy or the amount of time or the things that I'm sacrificing not to do in order to do this? Um, but like when I think about it, people supporting this type of work makes me want to do more because one, I know that I'm being supported financially. And two, if there's always people wanting to learn, then why should I stop teaching them? But if there isn't an audience that's wanting to learn, it becomes really hard to talk to an empty room. And that's what I was doing for years, and I continued to do it. And it felt very demoralizing on X for the longest time. But when I moved to Substack, I was very surprised to see a community that was like eager to be like, finally, someone is teaching us something. And that's 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 really helpful. Um, I'm a grassroots organizer. I used to do canvassing and I used to do voter education for the November ballot. And I was attacked doing voter education for the November ballot on September 6th of 2018 in South Kansas City around 5:55 p.m. Um, my boss was with me and everything. Um, so I'm definitely familiar with the burnout when it comes to grassroots organizing. I'm definitely familiar with the, uh, having to figure out how to take time for yourself to do some self-care is and how important that is. So I'm always trying to be mindful of that and mindful of my body. And when I'm not able to, do a recording or a live stream, it's because I'm taking care of myself. question about the current events in the Middle East. What is the defining characteristics of the current alignment relationship between the UK and the United States? Is it tactical or hostile at this point? And how can it be measured and monitored? So we recently had the King of the United Kingdom and the Commonwealth countries visit the United States. Um, I would say it's more on the neutral end at the moment, especially that their government, the mm, you can say that UK politics is going through changes, just like the United States is going through changes, and defining exactly whether that it's hostile or tactical, it's still early. So I'm placing it on neutral. And once we have the new government outline, we can have a better idea of where that relationship is going to be at. On the security forces video for Hajj, how large is this force? So there are special forces that will be available, and that's what you are seeing. And you are watching the stunt forces actually, which they are usually only there to do the stunts, and they would do basically these type of shows for propaganda on a regular basis. Uh, this time it's for Hajj season. Now, that number grows in terms of governmental volunteers, and then it grows into Hajj workers, and then it grows into governmental uh, religious clerks, and then you have the governmental hospitals that will be giving free treatments and surgeries to anyone who gets sick from the pilgrimage. So the Saudi government has done surgeries, crucial surgeries for many pilgrims that have come to the kingdom and ended up needing a surgery or so forth so on. And wouldn't charge anyone for it basically. And then you have the Boy Scouts and that basically gets dispersed. There's crowd control. There's a fleet of ambulances. Um, and on hot days, they have no. There's also a fleet of media coverage. All media on hand for this type of holy days from the government. So it's kind of a big operation. My uncle-in-law is or was one of the Tawifin, Tawafatiyah, and that means like the people who were responsible in the past of welcoming the pilgrimers and showing them how to do the pilgrimage. So we have family history in our family in that type of line of work. See if you guys have any other questions up here. Tourism includes Hajj, yes. They call it religious tourism. For the longest time, Hajj played the only side or aspect of tourism in the kingdom. until Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman came through and started changing things and welcoming, you know, foreigners to come in and uh, contribute to the economy. Maptis, I have not. I'm not familiar with Maptis. Any famous Saudi gardens? We have like parks, but not gardens. No. Saudis are still need to learn the gardening skill or greenhouses. I'm not familiar if we have a new greenhouse or not. Although we could use more of that. But the kingdom has been recently interested in weather seeding, which is trying to manipulate the clouds around the kingdom so it would rain more, especially around the desert. Yeah, you got it. It was a good question, Mr. Thomas. My phone is about to die. Maybe it's a good time to do some quick business while you're here. If you're tuning in for the first time, please subscribe. Helps us go a long way. If you are not a paid subscriber and you can become a paid subscriber, I hope you can consider becoming a paid subscriber. I know I have asked 2 days ago if you're not able to become a paid subscriber and you need to become and you want to become a paid premium member. I made a a section in my group chat where people can place their names or say hi, and I will reach out to them. I've been busy a little bit with the two articles and stuff, so I haven't gotten to everyone or to anyone in that list yet. So if you would be a little bit patient with me, I'm gonna get back to you and collect your emails so I can add you to the list. Otherwise, I do appreciate you tuning in. If you're watching this on YouTube, you are watching a recording. Subscribe on YouTube, like, comment, and share, and then come back to Substack. Let's join the community. We have a big community here. We have a group chat. We ask the questions and we ask about each other, and we build this community so we can have an educated community that is fighting for change and difference. So join the revolution and watch the Wajeeh Lion podcast. And as I like to say, مع السلامة, bye bye, وبالإنجليزي goodbye. We'll see you tomorrow.